Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Nintendo is turning into more and more of a villain. You know, with each passing year, I swear to God, they are the most litigious video game company out there. They're turning into the Japanese equivalent, I think, of Disney.
I was going to say, is it like the Japanese Disney? Yeah.
So now we have an update on the Palworld lawsuit. For those of you who have not been following the situation, Palworld is an independent game that is, I'm going to admit, very similar to Pokemon, except you've got guns and crafting and stuff like that. But it was a huge, huge hit. And immediately Nintendo's lawyers were put on alert, and they initially were looking at the monster designs. And when they couldn't get anywhere with that, now they're trying to sue Palworld over game mechanics that they claim they patented in Japan, and that they have to change their game mechanics. And I think part of this is not just the success of Palworld, but the fact that Pocketpair is working with Sony now, which is their direct competitor. So, you know, they're going to try to take them out.
I'm trying to keep up with it because, yeah, it just seems like every other week it's getting changed somehow. And it's very confusing if you're not like somebody who's kept up with this like me.
Yeah.
So explain it to me like I'm stupid because as we go, because I am when it comes to this. So.
Well, we've got a timeline, so we'll break it down. Now, Palworld is a game that I like, or kids like it. They played it quite a bit.
Yes, I'm familiar with what it is.
Yeah, very, very popular game. And I think it's going to get more popular since they have the multimedia company or something they set up with Sony. So they're going to do anime and toys and all that stuff, which again, sounds a lot like Pokemon, and Nintendo's not going to have that. We can't have that. So
no, yeah.
Let's talk about this. And it's so weird because remember when Nintendo used to be the underdog and they were suing Universal over Donkey Kong, and, you know, Atari was getting on and that whole thing. Yeah, now they're...
They've learned nothing. No, sorry.
They've lived long enough to become the villain, right? So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to news.clownfishtv.com for more paywalled content. We got some more podcasts coming up this week, including a new show. We got a new show launching this week.
Oh, we do? Okay.
We do.
Is that the one we recorded last week?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's launching this week, so you'll have to check it out.
So back to the Nintendo thing. Nintendo, weren't they like going around and trying to like copyright strike people for putting their games in their videos, and they were trying to take the money and stuff from that too?
Yes.
And people were like, don't you want people to be out there playing this stuff to promote your games and make people want to buy it?
Well, yeah, but they're supposed to buy it without seeing any gameplay because you're supposed to trust them because it's Nintendo and everything Nintendo does is good.
Aren't they the ones that can brick your system if you play stuff that they don't like?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. So I am caught up. Okay.
Like, I mean, this is where I'm really torn because Nintendo, I mean, they really are going to lengths to shut people down who are, you know, participating in emulation, even if they're not stealing ROMs per se, but just like they're trying to shut down emulators, they're trying to shut down emulation sites, they're trying to...
I mean, I get that part because they're not making any money, but if you buy a used game, and you buy the game, and they don't make the game anymore, you should be, even if they do, you should be allowed to play it. Like it used to be, you could play any used game on your system, you should be allowed to play it.
Oh, no, we can't do that because we have to keep making revenue for the company so they can brag to their shareholders about record profits. And if you buy used games, well, they only got paid once.
Well, yeah. Well, I thought you were going to say we have to brag to our company and have the money to be able to do all these lawsuits, like this one.
So we're going to look at the update here, but here's the timeline for those of you who aren't familiar with it. And again, Nintendo, they had lawyers on standby within the first couple of weeks of Palworld coming out because it was a massive hit on Steam. It was one of the best-selling games of all time on Steam.
They do look like Pokemon adjacent.
They do. They do. And it didn't help that the media was out there calling it Pokemon with guns. You know,
I know, right?
That definitely, so that got their attention.
Brand damaging.
Yeah, well, that's what I think they were trying to argue originally. And then they were like, okay, we're going to look at the models because there were some Pokemon stands saying they lifted the models from some of Nintendo's own games. And then when they ain't getting anywhere with that, now they're like, oh, we'll shut them down this way. We'll patent the game mechanics, which apparently is the thing you can do in Japan. But now apparently what they're doing is they're going back and they're retconning, they're moving the dates around on their patent or some patent filing. I mean, this is Japanese law. This isn't American law. In America, you can't patent game mechanics. Japan, you can. The problem is if Nintendo wins this, they're going to set a precedent that they can basically copyright or trademark any game mechanic. Be like, oh, you want to jump in a game? You want to collect coins? Yeah, you can't do that because Mario does that.
Yeah, I know, right?
And then that's how you freeze out the competition. Just be like, well, you know. So anyway, here's the
couldn't they wait real quick? But couldn't they just bring that just don't sell it in Japan?
Yeah, well, Pocketpair is a Japanese company. If Pocketpair were an American company, I don't think we'd be having these issues. But because they're in the same,
transfer your company to America, sell it to an American, make an American branch, sell it to the American branch. Problem solved.
Move to Texas. You've got guns. All your little critters have guns. Yeah, don't go to Austin, but you could just pick up Pocketpair and move it to Texas. That's what you do. All right, so this is a couple of months ago. This come from Deserto. Full Palworld lawsuit timeline. Nintendo and Pokemon's beef with the indie hit explained. We kind of went into some backstory here. So here's the timeline. In May of 2023, the developer began revealing tutorials for Palworld. Okay. And it said one specifically detailed how to capture pals by weakening and containing them in thrown spheres, meant to be legally distinct from Pokeballs. Interestingly, games journalist Stephen Totillo identified a 2021 patent from Nintendo for throwing an item to catch a monster while out in the field. So they want to basically patent the ability to capture critters and balls.
It is a little weird that, they're capturing critters and balls too. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'll give Nintendo that.
Yeah. Now, if you had like a vacuum cleaner and you could just, suck your pals and they'd say, nope, that's Luigi's Mansion. Yep. Can't do that. Even though I'm surprised Columbia Pictures hasn't been like, hey, it's a lot like Ghostbusters. Oh, no, that's Sony too. That's a lot like, because Sony bought Columbia. That's a lot like Ghostbusters there, Nintendo. We're going to, there you go. So you drop the Palworld lawsuit and we won't sue you for Luigi's Mansion. Knocking off Ghostbusters. June of 2023, they had a trailer. And so the trailer was up in June of 2023. Upon the reveal to a wider audience, the Pokemon comparisons would rear their head and legal action from Nintendo was seen as inevitable. Nintendo's most legally aggressive video game company on the planet. They will sue. Trust me, one YouTuber commented. I really hope they don't win when they sue this game. Another one said, that is true. Everybody knows how litigious they are. So they dropped the game in January. Launches on January 19th, 2024, PC and Xbox. The game racked up sales numbers in the tens of millions and saw a very active day one player base thanks to its availability on Xbox Game Pass. On the same day, Pokemon fans slammed Palworld, claiming that devs ripped off creature designs from Game Freak's beloved franchise. And these people are like crazy. They're going into the code. They're trying to be like, I know they stole this. Nintendo, don't worry. I got your back, man. We got your back. And you couldn't say anything. I remember you couldn't say anything positive about Palworld, even though Digimon's out there, Monster Hunter, Monster Catcher, Monster Breeder, Monster Rancher, Monster Fucker. All those games are out there already. But as long as you don't stuff them in balls, you can fuck them, but you can't put them in a ball.
There could be balls involved, just not.
But like all these monster capture training games are out there and they've been out there for a while. And even a lot of RPGs have like a mini, game or whatever. But they said, it was crazy. You couldn't say anything about this game.
Pikachu's not going to sleep with you. Okay.
Yeah. Pikachu's not going to sleep with you. No, the one Pal will though. I forget the name, the one lizard. She'll sleep with anyone. Oh, Palworld amassed a concurrent player count of 2.1 million on Steam. It became the second most played game of all time on the platform at that point, later dethroned by Black Myth Wukong. Palworld players defended the game, and its popularity was so expected. Developers had rushed meetings with Epic to avoid stress on servers. Yeah, they didn't expect it to be that big.
Yeah, I do remember that, yes.
5 days later, after launch, Nintendo addressed its fans' complaints about Palworld and issued a statement claiming the company would investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on our IP. Nintendo took down a video advertising a Pokemon mod for Palworld. Yeah, they had a Pokemon mod for Palworld, but that wasn't official. In June, Palworld director, is it Takura Mizobi, revealed that despite the announcement from Nintendo about an investigation, Pocketpair had heard nothing. July, Pocketpair announces they've teamed up with, this is what I believe, this is what triggered it. They didn't hear anything for about 6 months. In July of 2024, Pocketpair announces they've teamed up with Aniplex and Sony to establish Palworld Entertainment, Inc. The aim of this to turn Palworld into a multimedia property that rivals Pokemon in areas like television and merchandising. They were safe when it was just a game. The thing is,
then Nintendo's like, nope.
Then in September, Nintendo reveals they've teamed with the Pokemon Company to issue a patent infringement lawsuit against Pocketpair that will be handled within the Tokyo District Court. They couldn't get them on anything directly. I mean, this is why it's so sleazy. They couldn't come at them head on and be like, yeah, you totally ripped off Pokemon. No. They had to find a technicality. Well, we patented this game mechanic and you're using this game mechanic, so we're going to go, and it's only in Japan.
So what's the update?
Okay, so the update is they've been shifting the strategies here. This is coming from
CBR.
From CBR, yeah. So they said the dispute with the Palworld developer Pocketpair has been unfolding for months. Okay, 10 months in, Nintendo is attempting a new tactic by amending the patents they already filed. So in September of 2024, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. Yeah, I love this too. So when we first started covering this, I was like, oh yeah, Nintendo did this, Nintendo did that. People are like, it's the Pokemon Company. Actually, it's like Nintendo owns a big part of the Pokemon Company.
Yeah.
It's Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. Okay, fine. It's Disney and Pixar and Marvel and Lucasfilm.
Right.
I mean, come on. Anyway, I just had to get that in there because I got so fucking tired of these people. They filed a lawsuit against Pocketpair over perceived infringement on 3 patents filed with the Japan Patent Office. The lawsuit was filed 9 months after the 2024 release of Palworld, and the 3 patents were registered between February and August of the same year. Okay, this had led some to question Nintendo's timing. The patents in question over capturing creatures using a ball, character movement, collision detection, and mounting mechanics. Okay.
So basically, these are things they patented after Palworld was released?
My understanding, yeah.
Okay, so that would be like, immediately, that would be questionable.
According to IGN, it's the mounting mechanism that's been amended to include more specific language using pals as a glider. We kind of wondered about that because when we first played, we played on launch day, and Squid King was like, this is very Breath of the Wild. Like, you could use a like it was like, yes, whatever. The Japan Patent Office granted a correction to a patent filed in 2021 with changes targeting the boarding and riding of creatures.
So let me translate. I don't think we're going to win this with the patent alone. So we got to amend it to add more specific things that directly target Palworld.
Yes. And because there's so many games that use similar mechanics.
But there's a bunch of games that have had animals as gliders for years.
People have pointed out that a lot of the early Pokemon, the first generation Pokemon, looked a lot like Dragon Quest monsters too. So like, I mean, if you want to get technical, Nintendo, if you want to get technical, Square Enix could come after you. Players could glide by grabbing on the legs of pals previously. However, the option was removed after the May update. Yeah, it was weird. Even the spawning and everything, like, I guess they just like, I haven't played it in a couple months, but they just like materialize beside you. You don't like throw the balls and they don't pop out of the balls or whatever. This left traditional gliders as the only method of aerial movement while pals provided passive buffs. So you can't ride them anymore.
This is stupid because then it's like if every mechanic is patented by Nintendo, like you said, you can't do anything in games.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about with this. What I'm worried about with this is if Nintendo is successful, that they're going to use this tactic to basically knock out all of their competition. They're going to be like, oh, that game's like Mario. That game's like Zelda. That one's like Animal Crossing.
If this patent is only recognized in Japan, though, then all these companies are going to have to go other places and put their games up from those other places, so it's not a problem.
So here's where it's scuzzy. They said Pocketpair has remained firm in its defense. They actually made a bunch of changes, which players weren't happy about. They're like, this is stupid. Why you have to change all stuff? IP consultant Florian Mueller notes that the amendments and specificity are removed. Yeah, you can tell I'm a lawyer, right? Specificity. Hey, judge, is it specificity? Yeah. Are removed. Thank you. Or move to block patent invalidity by using broader language to describe all aspects of a mechanism. Okay. Pocketpair has made certain concessions to ensure Palworld does not infringe on any filed patents. However, the rewording of the mechanics mid-lawsuit presents a problem that is not easily remedied by a hotfix. Why are they letting them do that?
Yeah, that's what's weird. Is because they were already going out of their way to change it to make sure they weren't infringing, and then they turn around and be like, "Oh, no, but you still are because we're changing the wording." I'm like, at that point, that's just targeted.
They said many are questioning the motives behind Nintendo's pursuit of
we know the
Pocketpair.
motives.
Yep, as mechanics such as capturing monsters, boarding, and flying them are ubiquitous across the industry. They are teaming up with Sony. They're going to do an anime. They're going to do spin-off games, and they're going to do a card game.
So they're going to probably go after them like, oh, your anime's too close to ours. Your card game's too close to ours, even if it's not. We're going to rewrite our old patents to now add a little subsection that says we own this too, retroactively, to make sure that you can't have anything.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. Like I said, if they're successful in this, and look, I want to be clear. I like Nintendo games. I do. Nintendo, though, as a company, when it comes to lawsuits, they're really scummy.
Well, look here. I'm sitting here like I can understand why they went after them for some of this stuff. Like I get where they're coming from. I think they had grounds, and they changed it so that they were not accidentally infringing or anything. And they changed it and they made different things to accommodate Nintendo. But them going back and retroactively changing stuff to try to keep pushing it forward and keep pushing what they own, that I have a problem with.
Yeah, this is just crazy. I mean, again, the big problem with this, one, if they're allowing them to, because I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, what planet? Well, apparently Japan. What country can you go back and amend documents as the case is going on? I mean, that's like wiping evidence, right? Because it has to be like whatever you filed in 2021 is what you're stuck with.
Yeah, but now they're just going back and saying, well, we're going to add specific language to be like, so that we're specifying it has to be this, this, and this. And it's like, that just happens to target the person I'm in a lawsuit with.
Yeah, if I were a judge, I mean, again, I don't know Japanese law. If I were a judge, I would just be like, yeah, hey, let's go back to the 2021 filing because this game didn't even exist then.
I mean,
so
again, we're not in Japan, but I'm sorry, as someone outside the looking in, because I'm not really invested in this either way because I don't play the game. It does come across to me, in my opinion, that there might have been money was exchanged somewhere because this does not seem like something that would be okay. It's like you're like changing the rules of the game as you're playing it to favor yourself. And I just don't understand. After it was filed, I don't understand why they should be allowed to go back and retroactively trademark stuff. But
yeah,
here we are.
Here we are. So we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.